How much do you hate getting an email that you never signed up for? Raise your hand. Me too. I think my co-founder Sharon would agree, and we're joined by Emily McGuire of Flourish and Grit. I know that you as an email marketing specialist are definitely saying, don't send me email that I didn't sign up for. So what's the problem with doing that?
Yeah, I mean, how many people want to be forced into a conversation they never asked to be a part of, right? So there are a lot of factors that go into it, not only from a relationship standpoint, but also there are federal regulations and some regulations state by state that require explicit permission to send somebody any sort of promotional messaging. So I'll start with the big ones, right? So in the United States, we have the CAN-SPAM Act, which does not prohibit people from sending unsolicited emails, but it does require that you have an unsubscribe link on any promotional messaging. So that is a federal regulation. And the EU, they had GDPR, which requires explicit consent to send marketing messaging. What does that have to do with people in the US? Well, if you have anybody who travels to the EU, that applies to you. But there are states who are adopting similar measures. California currently has one, and I think there are maybe 7 other states who are working on bills that have similar language about data privacy and requiring explicit consent to receive marketing messaging. So this is the power of email marketing that I love so much, is that it has the real power to have a one-to-one connection with that subscriber on your email list. So that means they do not know that you just emailed 100, 500, 10,000 other people. All they know is the email they got in their inbox. And it has the huge power to establish that like, know, and trust factor, which is crucial to any brand for winning over new clients. So if you start sending people sales emails that they never asked for, the first thing I do when I get an email from somebody I don't know or recognize is, who are they and why are they emailing me, right? And if I realize I never gave them permission, I'm immediately going to be upset. And if they keep doing it, I'm going to be more and more upset. And that hurts a business more than it helps in the long run.
So besides being completely obnoxious, from a business standpoint, how does it harm your ability to get your email into those inboxes that really want it?
Yes, that is a good question. So this can impact what they call in the email world, your email deliverability. And that is a whole thing. There are people who specialize in this. There are whole industries built around making sure your emails get delivered to the inbox and not the spam folder. So everything is tracked online, as most of you probably know, and your email service provider and the IP address from where you are sending your emails from is tracked as well. So you have a reputation online for how healthy your sending practices are.
Wait, so what you're saying is that if I'm sending out email to 500 people and only 100 of them are opening it, does that hurt me?
It depends. So if you have like 1% open rates consistently, that's going to send up a lot of red flags. What's really going to hurt you is if you are sending emails to people who are not expecting them and you do not make it easy for them to opt out or unsubscribe. What's the first thing they're going to do?
Report you as spam.
Exactly. They're going to mark you as spam. If it's easier to do that than to unsubscribe, they're going to do the easier thing. So that gets tracked back to you and your IP address. and therefore hurts your sender reputation, which then impacts your ability to land in the inbox and not the spam folder. So everything's tracked. Nobody's immune. So make it really easy for people to unsubscribe because they'll mark you as spam. They don't care.
Do those unsubscribe buttons even work though? I swear I spend time unsubscribing all the time and I still get those emails. Are they?
Hello, Groupon. Leave me alone.
I mean, they should. If you're using a good email service provider, they should. Some people still have manual processes where they have to like go scrape a list of people who submitted those forms. Oh my gosh, that makes me itch. But if you're using like MailChimp or something like that, those links work. But the other option too there is you can offer a way to what they call opt down instead of opt out. So a lot of these email service providers have forms that you can build in that say, hey, do you want to stop receiving all of our messages, or do you want to receive some of them? Or do you only want to receive once a month? Or do you want to pause for a few months? So there's lots of options to give people if you don't want to lose them right away.
So what if you've got a list, an email distribution list that has some legits and some people that you've added?
Oh, that you added yourself. So you met them somewhere and you're just throwing emails on a list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, they are not giving you permission to email them. I can't tell you how many people I've met. And when I start talking about this to other people, it's the same, that people just scrape LinkedIn profiles for email addresses and think just because I messaged you one time or we connected means you can add me to your email list. That is not explicit permission. That is not consent. I tell people it's like throwing somebody halfway into a conversation they didn't know they were having, or maybe they didn't even want to have. So just adding people to your list who never gave you permission or consent to is just, it's bad juju.
Don't do it. Bad juju. Keep your list clean. No means no.
If you look at the data, people who opt into your messaging are saying, yes, I want to hear more about you. They're warm. They are excited to hear more from you. So yes, they are already primed and ready to listen and hear more about your offerings. So, and the data shows people who give you permission to market to them are convert much higher than people who never did.
So here's to having a list full of people who opted in and are receptive to your message. Emily, thank you so much for your great ideas. You can find out more about all of Emily's marketing know-how for email at flourishgrit.com. And we will have more in our Great Ideas series to help you with your business.